All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Native Wellness Power Hour today. It's Friday. I'm so excited to share a little bit of stretching and moving and breathing with everyone today. Some easy exercises, some Friday fun, just a few relaxing movements to get our get ourselves feeling good and ready for the weekend. So I'll just give a minute for more people to log on. My family's here. You guys can say hi to Thosh, Weston, and Aloe. Num num. Good job, babe. Aloe, do you want to say hi? Okay, come here. Come say hi. Emoji. Woo! Say happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Yeah. Now can you stretch? Yeah, that's how you do it. Good. So if anybody has kids that you would like to join this workshop, please feel free to invite the children, invite the fam. All are welcome. Like I said, I'm just going to give a minute here for a few more people to log on, and then we'll get started. And before I get started, I'll just go ahead and introduce myself. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Chelsey Luger. I am originally from the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa and from the Standing Rock and Cheyenne Sioux tribes. In North Dakota is where I was born and raised. And I am now coming to you from my home in Tempe, Arizona, which is near the Salt River Reservation, which is where my husband is from, and where we will be living when we build a house one day.
Soon.
One day soon, hopefully. And yeah, here with obviously I'm a mom, I have two kids, my 3-year-old here, Aloe, and our 4-month-old over there, Weston.
And her 39-year-old.
And my 39-year-old there. And so in addition to being trainers for the Native Wellness Institute, Thosh and I have an initiative we call Well for Culture, which is where we really focus on wellness, living a balanced life, and we love to share all about movement and eating well and getting good sleep and keeping your home a sacred space and all these different aspects of living in balance, which is rooted in our ancestral teachings, of course. So quick announcement here as well. Let me check my text messages from our director, Jolene, just as a reminder. Jolene asked me to remind everyone that there are several Native Wellness Institute trainings next week that are still open for registration, and these events would be so awesome for anyone to join. So on Tuesday and Wednesday, there are several self-care trainings that are still open for registration. And on Wednesday, there's, self-care Tuesday,
Wednesday.
Self-care is Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Power of Positive Thinking is on Thursday and Friday. So registration for both of those is still open. And if you would like to register, please visit nativewellness.com. Is it nativewellness.com?
It's just nativewellness.com. Correct. And I want to add two here.
Yeah, please do.
Here. No.
Yeah, nativewellness.com. I always forget if it's like .org or something.
The World Wide Web.
Yeah.
That's what Chelsey refers to it as. Yeah, but the trainings are a good opportunity to learn about even the Native Wellness movement that has really started. Some of our trainers have been a part of, and the board members have been a part of this wellness movement since it started in as early as the 60s. And so it's something that's been happening and going on for decades now, and the young generation is getting involved. And so if you haven't had a chance in the past as a Native person to attend any one of our wellness trainings that have been in your community or a area near your community, it's a good chance to kind of get to know what Native Wellness Institute is about by attending one of our virtual training sessions. And of course, attending our our power hours every day as well. That has been giving. I know it's given people a lot of opportunity or insight as to what Native Wellness is. To. I just wanted to say that much quick, and I'm gonna offer my little thing there.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so let's get started with our stretching and breathing. Aloe, do you want to join Mama, or do you want to go with Daddy and watch Pony? Okay. Sometimes when I'm doing a training, I let Aloe watch My Little Pony. That's her favorite show. Okay. So let's start with our breath. Why is breathing important? Because our air is a sacred element. Our breath is our life. And it's so important that we honor our breath. And this is one aspect of our wellness and of our self-care that we often forget about. And it's also one of the simplest, easiest, and most accessible forms of our wellness and our self-care because it doesn't cost anything. We don't have to go anywhere. We don't need any equipment. We can always tune inward and utilize our breath for healing and to either wake up our mind or to quiet our mind or whatever we need to do. We can use our breath to bring energy and to exert energy in a way that we feel serves us in that moment. So let's go ahead and find a nice upright posture because an upright posture is the first step to being able to take a deep and conscious breath. So what I would like you to do is I'll just demonstrate here. Usually throughout our day, we end up hunching over a little bit just because this is just the natural tendency of the body, especially if we're working on a computer or sitting at a desk. Often I find myself like standing with shoulders slumped and sort of like this curve in the back. And whether I'm seated or standing, I find myself in this position. And then the other thing that I notice I tend to do is like I'll find myself putting all my weight on one leg. And what that does over time, the slouching and the shifting of weight, is it creates imbalances in our bodies. It creates imbalances and it can even set us up for injury at some point. So the first step is if you're on one leg or the other, try to put your weight on both legs. So your weight is more evenly distributed. And then I'm going to show you my feet here. Go ahead and place your feet flat on the floor. Have them about hips width or shoulders width apart with the toes pointed straight forward. And then you're just going to rock back and forth on the feet, just really feeling that groundedness in the ground, in the earth below us. And as you rock back and forth on your feet there, just try to envision, whether you're indoor or whether you're outdoor, envision that energy from the earth coming from the ground and into your body. And we can always feel that sense of gratitude for Mother Earth beneath our feet. And this is just as substantial whether we are indoors in an urban environment or whether we are in the middle of a forest somewhere. There's no hierarchy of value of nature. So even if you're like in your office or in your bedroom, if you can really connect to the earth and feel rooted in Mother Earth through your feet just by focusing on that and paying attention there. So go ahead and shift back and forth on the toes and the heels, and just really feel grounded and rooted and visualizing that energy of like almost like your body has roots, like a tree has roots, and envision yourself really rooting down in the earth there. And then I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose, and as you do that, you're going to shrug your shoulders. And then as you exhale, you're going to set your shoulders back down and pinch your shoulder blades together. So it's going to be a nice fluid motion where we find a nice upright posture. In 3, 2, 1, deep breath in through the nose. Shrug the shoulders and exhale, pinch the shoulder blades together. Good, nice and upright. Now we're going to take that one step further, and we're going to visualize and pretend there's somebody up there tugging on a string that's connected to the crown of your head. And when they just gently tug on that string, You're gonna take a deep breath and you're gonna find yourself lifting upright. Good. And then they let go of the string, and then you relax the shoulders, relax the shoulders. So you're nice and firmly rooted. And then go ahead and try this for me. Almost like try flexing the muscles in your calves, in your quads, your glutes, your hips. Like really play with that and just feel that sense of rootedness once again into the ground, into the earth. You're strong, you're stable. Engage your core. Engage your core. Feel so sometimes you might look at someone and say, oh, she's just standing there. But really, I'm like fully engaged and strong. And if somebody were to come up to me and push on me or lean on me right now, I would have resistance. I'd be able to hold myself upright like a tree trunk. So that is the kind of rootedness and strength I'd like everybody to find in this nice upright posture here. So once more, another deep breath in through the nose, shrug the shoulders. Exhale, release the shoulders, come back, and you're standing nice and upright, nice and tall, strong, ready to proudly represent yourself to the day, okay? So now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take 4 deep breaths in this nice, this nice and upright position that we found. You're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And with each breath, you're going to visualize one of our life-giving directions. Whether you want to start north, east, south, west, or whether you start a different direction or go a different way, I'd like you to visualize the 4 directions. You can even close your eyes and imagine yourself facing each direction, or you could turn around as you go. But either way, 4 deep breaths and 4 directions. And this is our way of honoring all of the life-giving elements that come from all of the directions around us. And so we're honoring that with our breath and with our movement and with our firm, upright, strong posture. All right? And we're going to start in Waji, Nupa, Yamini. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, I want to hear it. And second breath, inhale. Third breath, inhale. And 4. Good. Okay, so we're going to try that one more time in just a moment here. And as you take each breath, again, I want to hear the breath, and you're almost going to feel like a sense of lightheadedness because so much more oxygen is coming to your brain. And that's a good thing. That means that your mind and your body are engaging and working together, and your spirit. All right. And the final thing is, like, if you're standing closed off, I'd like you to open your arms and be willing to give and receive good energy. Okay. And in 3, 2, 1, deep breath in. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And the breath gets deeper as you go. Third breath, inhale. Fourth breath, inhale. And good. Okay, so let's start shaking it out. Before we go into a really deep stretch, we need to do a little bit of a dynamic warm-up and warm our muscles up and warm our. I'm in a really warm climate right now, so my muscles are actually already kind of warm, but especially if you're somewhere cold, or if you're like in a cold office or a cold area, we really need to warm up the muscles before we do a deeper stretch. So let's start by shaking it out. Shake out your hands and keep that breath going as we do these. Inhale, exhale. Good. Now we're going to start bringing in the whole arm. So we're shooting our arms forward and back, nice and fluid. And as I bring my elbows behind me, I'm pinching my shoulder blades together. And I can visualize energy leaving my hands as I shoot them forward. And I keep breathing. Inhale, exhale, and I keep my posture upright. Good. And now we're going to do our monkey arms. So we just swing. And a lot of people, when they do this, they like almost like stop themselves, like really stiff. But what I want is fluidity. Really just fling the arms up there, let them go. Really try to focus on looseness and like you're almost like noodle arms here. Just letting the arms go and you're alternating, alternating. Good. And as I said, you're sort of pinching the shoulder blades and making this as dynamic of a warm-up as you possibly can. Good. And now we're going to start by engaging, and I almost think of this as like wringing out my organs, but we're just going to do a nice twist here. So you're going to twist, and like I did last time with the monkey arms, you let the arms loose. Let them fly. Let them like hit you as you twist in each direction. Good. So you're just twisting, twisting. And you can use your gaze and turn all the way around. See what's behind you. Good. So just wringing out we build up a lot of tension. And the good thing about that one too is it releases tension in the back. And we all build up so much tension in our back as we go throughout the day. Okay, so we're warming up a little bit. And now let's start warming up the lower body. So let me see, I'm trying to adjust here so that you can see what I'm doing. So we're gonna start by just shifting our weight from side to side. You're gonna see me hinging at the hips, and I'm almost like bowing toward my straight leg and letting my toe come up off the ground. And then I come back to center and I bow. And as I bow toward my straight leg, my other leg bends. And I'm just keeping my hands here. You can put your hands on your hips just to anchor them. But notice how my posture stays upright. So I'm not like slouching over like this. I'm keeping an upright posture and I'm hinging. But you keep the movement going so that it's really a dynamic warm-up. And we're not stopping and stalling too long as a static stretch. And I can feel like my joints are like cracking a little bit. The funny thing is, like, this is probably the first movement session I've done all week, except for I taught a really short one a couple days ago in a different workshop. But it's feeling really good for me to move right now too. So now we're gonna step from side to side, and you're just sort of gonna like kick your own butt. So notice how I'm keeping my knees below me. I'm not bringing the knees up. I'm like focusing on bringing the heels behind me, and the knees stay behind me as well. So you're just shifting from side to side, kick your own butt, just to, again, warming up the legs, warming up the joints. Good, good. All right, so we're warming up. And if you have the energy, I don't right now, but if you have the energy and you feel like doing it, you could even extend this into more of a warm-up. You could do jumping jacks, you could do high knees, you could do running in place. I don't have the energy for that right now, but if you really need to warm yourself up, those are some of the things that you can do to really get your heart rate up without any equipment, without needing a treadmill or to go for a run outside. You can do all of those things, okay? So now let's bring our attention back up here. We want to release a little bit of tension in our neck so that we don't injure ourselves as we stretch. So this is really simple. Again, you're finding your upright posture. And all I want you to do is bring your chin to your chest and look down at the ground. Very simple. So bringing chin to chest, you're looking down at the ground, and then you're slowly going to bring your left ear over to your left shoulder. And then very slowly come back to center. And then you're going to bring your right ear to your right shoulder and slowly come back to center. Then you're going to lift your gaze and look straight forward. And then you're going to shift your head backward and you're going to look straight up at the ceiling. And back to center. All right, now you're looking straight ahead and you're going to touch your right ear to your right shoulder. And look straight ahead one more time. It doesn't actually touch the shoulder, of course, but now bring your left ear to your left shoulder. And back to center. Good. Now, now make sure you're doing this one really nice and slowly. You're just gonna like turn your head and leave the entire rest of your body straight ahead so that we can stretch the neck a little bit. So you're just going to shift your gaze. You're gonna find something on the wall to the right of you. And you're just gonna shift your gaze, keeping the whole rest of the body square and looking forward. You're just gonna shift your gaze as far over as you can. Maybe you're even looking behind your shoulder a little bit, and then bring it back to center, and then switch to the other side. Just slowly shift your gaze, opening up the muscle of the neck here, and then find it back to center. Good. Now, if you feel ready, take a nice full circle of the head. Good. And a nice full circle of the head. And when you get to the bottom, where your chin is to chest, let it rest for a second and feel more tension releasing from the back of the neck. You could even do a little self-massage here if it feels good. If you feel like you need it, a lot of people have a lot of tension back here. So you might need to just rub that out a little bit, and then again, a full circle of the head and back to center, and let the head drop. Okay, good. So now let's take it and we're gonna start doing circles of the arms. So I think we've done a pretty good dynamic warm-up. Like we're pretty warm, we're pretty set to go, but just know that as we go through and do these stretches, for safety purposes, don't push it to the point where it's hurting. You can feel free to challenge yourself, and you can stretch to the point where you feel a stretch and you feel something happening. But if it's like ow, 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 then you definitely don't want to keep going. You want to stop yourself and maybe just leave that stretch out, or maybe just go into it very, very gently, and don't push it too hard. Because just like if I were to go and try to lift that heaviest kettlebell there, it's too heavy for me, I would injure myself. I would probably pull a muscle in my back or something like that. So with stretching and flexibility, you can actually injure yourself if you push it too hard, too fast. So just make sure not to push it too hard. But yeah, let's go ahead and we'll keep stretching. So, and again, incorporating the breath and keeping the breath going is so important. So as you take a deep inhale, you're gonna raise one arm, and then you're gonna exhale, leaning right on over to one side, and then you inhale back to center and release. Inhale, other arm comes up. Exhale to the other side. You can even do this from your chair if you'd like. Inhale back to center and release. Inhale, both arms come up. Exhale, you're gonna bring them back into a circle. So now we're taking full circles of the arms. Inhale, both arms rise. Exhale. Now inhale, you're gonna cross the arms in front of you, and you're really making a big circle. Exhale, now inhale, cross the opposite arm in front, and exhale behind. Good, and now bring it to the shoulders. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now switch directions, forward. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now inhale, full circles forward. Exhale, lower. And you don't have to turn. I'm just going to be turning to show you like form. Inhale, rise, rise. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. Good. Now both arms rise on the inhale. And we're going to come into our cactus arms. So the arms, elbows are at a 90-degree angle, just like a saguaro cactus that you see in my part of the country here. Inhale. Exhale. And now as you inhale, exhale and pinch the shoulders back so you're opening up the chest. And release. Good. Shake it out. We're going to try that one more time. Again, you really envision expansion here. You're opening up the chest, opening the shoulders, ready to give and ready to receive. And you're physically expressing that with your body and with your stretching. So inhale, the arms will rise. Exhale to the cactus arms. Inhale, take a pause. Exhale, pinch the shoulder blades together. Nice and open, nice and open. This time, keep breathing and open the arms all the way. And just pretend like you're almost trying to hold something behind you. Like you want to like pick up, there's like a giant balloon behind you and you want to hold it with your arms here. Inhale and exhale. And as you exhale, give yourself a hug so you feel the opposite type of tension. Good. And then release, release and shake it out. All right, we're going to do that one more time. Inhale, the arms will rise. Exhale into cactus. Inhale, take a pause. Exhale, bend all the way. Open up the chest, and then open up the hands. Keep breathing. And when you're ready, give yourself a nice big hug. Good. Shake it out. Give it a little twist. Okay. So now we're going to go into stretching a little bit more of the back and the legs, bringing in the full body here. I apologize if I'm like cut off a little bit, just trying to show a full body, but also not be too far away from the camera so you can still hear me well. Okay, so first things first, stand with your nice firm posture like we talked about in the beginning. You're really rooted, you're really strong. Now you're going to drop chin to chest. And then you're going to continue that trajectory, and you're just going to slowly start. Now this time, go ahead and do slump your shoulders. Let that upright posture go. Let it go, and just slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, come on down to where you are headed toward touching your toes. And if you can touch your toes all the way, that's totally fine. Maybe you stop here because you feel enough of a stretch. Maybe you stop here. Or maybe you go ahead and go all the way down to touching your toes, whatever works for you. Maybe you're way more flexible than me. You go all the way back. Whatever works, wherever you're at, just honor that. Honor your body and feel good about it. And then you're going to shift. So you're going to maintain this here where you're hanging down. And we're going to shift our weight from right to left. And right to left. And my fingers are just grazing the floor. And I'm shifting my weight, bending one knee, then the other. Bending one knee, then the other. And now both knees are straight again, or you could have a slight bend in them. And I want you to bring your hand to the back of your head. And we're just going to do like draw a figure 8 with your head on the ground. So figure 8. And again, I'm shifting my weight from one side to the other. Shifting weight from one side to the other. Nice deep stretch here. And when you're ready, or at any point, you just inhale, come all the way up to rising and standing. Good. That felt good for me. I realized that when I did that, I realized I have a lot of tension in my lower back right now. So as long as you're going into that nice and gently and slowly, it's a good way of relieving that tension. Of course, if you go into it too quickly, it might hurt. So just be careful there. Always careful with flexibility. So now let's inhale. And as we exhale, go all the way down again. We're going to try that one more time. You're going to find this stretch is going to be a little deeper this time. You're going to be able to get into it a little bit deeper because we already did it once before. And the more you use your breath, the deeper you will be able to continue to get into these stretches. Okay? So right and left and right and left. And I know that these are kind of, simple and basic stretches. You're going to slowly rise vertebrae by vertebrae so you're all the way top. So these are kind of simple and basic stretches, but keep in mind, for the people that are doing the splits and doing all these crazy yoga poses and stuff, this is where it starts. This is the basis. You have to start with the basics, and even if you are really, really flexible, it's always important to return to the basics because this is the root of our movement practice, right? Okay, so hands to hips, and now we're going to go ahead and we're going to open up our hips. You can do this from seated if you're having trouble balancing, or you can hold onto a chair or hold onto the wall. But one foot will cross over one knee, and you're just going to slowly lower with the back. Your back is in alignment in a nice upright posture. You're lowering here so that you feel a nice stretch in the IT band. This feels so good, opening up the hips this way. It's also a stability challenge for my standing leg. But like I said, feel free to do this from your chair, from seated, or you can hold on to something for balance. And then you're going to stand back up to center and switch sides. Keep breathing. So often the tendency is to hold our breath while we're stretching, while we're finding a deep stretch. But we are really missing out on the benefits of a flexibility practice if we forget to use our breath. Back up to center. Keep breathing. Of course, I'm blabbering away here talking, so I'm not breathing as deeply, but I encourage you to keep using your breath. And as you exhale, you'll find your stretch deepens. And then back to center and switch legs one more time. Inhale and exhale, lower into the stretch. Good. Feel that openness. Good. Relieving that tension from the work week, that tension that we've built up, and really preparing our bodies to relax, because this weekend we want to rest. We want to rest our minds, we want to rest our bodies, and we want to feel prepared to bring our best self back into the office on Monday again. Okay? So I should talk. I don't work in an office, but nonetheless, I still feel the weekends. It's very different for us. We do all of our administrative work during the week. And weekends really are a break for us too. So, all right, so lower, and we're gonna touch the toes one more time. All right, and then you're gonna come back up to center. Now this time I want you to take your feet wider. So your feet are a little bit wider, and this connecting your belly button to your toes, and you're just gonna slowly glide forward. You feel that nice stretch in the back of the leg here. Now back up to center, and you're gonna switch sides, stretching the back of the opposite leg. Good. Notice how this leg bends a bit as I bow into the stretch, and forward, hands on hips. And let's repeat that circuit a few more times, so we start to gain some flexibility in the back of our legs. But of course, we don't dump all of our weight into it. We maintain nice and stable, strong core, so that we don't injure ourselves. Back to the other side. Good. A couple more times here. Lower for the left knee. Lower for the center. And lower for the right. Good. Get back up to center. Now, you're going to go ahead and touch. So I'm going to bring my right hand, and I'm going to lower and touch my left foot, and then back up to center. And then switch sides. So now we're just playing with some coordination and getting the stretch going a little bit faster. And if you'd like to bend one knee while you do this, that might help you. If you want to feel, again, you could even do as we were doing in the beginning and lift the toe up. One thing that I find with stretching that's really important is making it intuitive. So maybe you'll see me touching the toe like this, but for you that doesn't feel great, and your body is telling you okay, bend your knee, go ahead and do that. Whatever your body tells you to do, if it feels good, follow it. Right. Right, there goes the UPS truck. Whoa, huge UPS truck. All right. And we're just going to go ahead and lower to center. And then once more, try to push the toes. And bring it back up to center. Good. Okay. So now I encourage everybody to go ahead and grab a chair or something that you can balance on. I'm going to grab a chair here. I'm going to text Thosh. I think he has a delivery. All right. now we're going to do one of my favorite stretches. This is a runner stretch. So you're simply going to sweep your leg from side to side. So you're going to go left and right, left and right. And you're allowing your standing foot to sort of come up and down off the ground and move with it. And this really opens up the hips. It's a good dynamic warm-up as well. And then you're going to switch legs. So my left leg will now sweep forward and back. Forward and back. Good. And then you're going to do the same stretch, but this time going forward and back. This way. Good. And the opposite leg. Forward and back. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to move it to the floor. So if you need a mat or to clear some space, go ahead and take a minute to do that. Actually, I'm going to leave the computer right here. And we're going to bring it to the floor. So it's important to learn how to stretch on the floor as well. Because sometimes we want to stretch while we're watching TV or while we're, maybe our baby or our kids are playing on the floor or, hi, good. Okay. Sorry, I'm teaching a class right here. No, that's okay. Let me go, I'll grab my husband. Just a second. Sorry, just one moment. Sorry about that. He's on his way. Yep. Okay. So let's go ahead and bring the feet straight in front of us. And the first thing is find your nice upright posture. And just sort of, I can't think of the word for this, but do this with your legs. This sort of helps us to loosen up the muscles here. Tosh, do you need me to move? Okay. You're going to bring one leg out, keep the other in, and you're going to turn the belly button toward the knee and just lower. And then come back up to center and go forward. Good. Back up to center, switch sides. Lower the belly button toward the knee. Back up to center and go forward. Good. Now both legs will come in front over time. You're going to inhale and rise. Exhale and lower. Good. Sitting upright again. Inhale and lower. Now, we're going to show you I'm going to show you the hip opening stretch that we did standing. I'll show you how to do that from the floor. So I always rest my weight on my hands here and my fingertips are pointed back. And then my feet come just like a nice 45-degree angle in front of me. And then I bring one ankle, cross it over. And then when I'm ready, I use my hands to push my torso forward. So now I'm getting that nice stretch in the IT band once more. Good, and I just pulse it. Getting that nice opening of the hips. And you might not be this, you might not be able to do it this much. You might be out here, and that feels like enough of a stretch. Just adjust the foot to whatever feels accessible for you. If your foot is further out, it's not going to be as intense of a stretch. If your foot is further in, it's going to be more intense. So just do whatever feels best to you. And just hold it for a few minutes. And remember to keep breathing. That deep inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. And when you're ready, go ahead and switch legs. So it's going to be a nice 90-degree angle here, Inhale, and when you're ready, exhale. And inhale. Exhale, lower. Good. Keep this going a little bit longer. For me, I notice that my left side is always a little bit more tense than my right side.
Same.
Less than weight still. Good. All right. So let's bring the feet in front of us one more time. And you'll notice I'm returning to a few of the stretches because like this one, for example, where we raise the arms and then lower at the torso, this is a tough one. It's hard to be able to get to this point where we touch our knees. So for you, it might feel enough of a stretch even just to have the legs out in front of us. Or maybe you're just barely leaning forward and you're already going to feel a lot of a stretch here under the legs, and that's okay wherever you're at with it. Or like I said, maybe you're way more flexible than me and you can lay your body flat on your legs. Wherever you're at is totally fine. We're all going to be different at all of these stretches. Good. So just leaning forward. And with all of these, of course, you know, we only have an hour here today, but the longer that you sit with these, the better your flexibility practice will be. It's important to spend lots of time with stretches. It's definitely one of those things that you've got to do it every day. You've got to do it every day, especially in order to prevent injury. So now let's go ahead and we're going to shift. We're just going to play with pointing and flexing of the toes and notice how that impacts the flexibility. So just point and flex. You guys can see in the background here, gosh, yeah, it is the same piece of fitness drinking the Luger, so I'm like watching. What is it?
By Rogue. That's our trap bar.
It's a trap bar.
And the safety arms for that squat.
Safety arms for our squat rack.
And our utility bench. So it inclines.
Okay. So pointing and flexing the toes. Okay. And then give your toes a good little wiggle here. Give the toes a good little wiggle. Bounce the knees again, one more time, bounce the knees. Don't be afraid to like hit your legs on the floor. It actually feels good. It's like releases tension in the muscles as well. All right, good. So now let's sit cross-legged if you can. And if sitting cross-legged is not accessible for you, feel free to try to do these stretches from a chair instead if that's easier. So now we're gonna play with some stretches of the torso one more time, just like we did from standing, but now we're gonna do them from seated. So you're gonna go ahead and inhale, one arm will rise, and exhale, gently touch your fingertips to the floor and lean over to one side, keeping the hips square, facing forward, and inhale, rise back to center, and lower. Now other side, inhale, left arm rises. Exhale, the fingertips are gently guiding onto one side. Exhale, lower. Inhale, back up to center, and release. Adjust the camera. Inhale, right arm will rise. And as you exhale, you're going to grab the elbow with the opposite side and just lower that arm and just guide your hand down toward the center of your back. So I'm really actually stretching my tricep here. And then you inhale, rise back to the center and lower. Shake it out. We're going to do the opposite side. Left arm will rise. Exhale, lower. And stretch that tricep. If you could see my back, I'm with my left hand, I am like touching the center of my back. And rise back to center and release. Good. Now let's inhale, rise one more time. Exhale, lower. Good. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower behind us. Now we're going to take a nice twist. And we're going to use our hands to guide us. So one hand will come to the knee, one hand comes to the opposite knee, the other hand gently touches the ground behind you, and you just guide your torso and you twist. Really holding this one for a few seconds and making sure you are relieving that stress and tension in the lower back. And then you inhale back to center, exhale. And when you're ready, the opposite hand comes to the opposite knee and you twist again. And if you can see my hand behind me, I'm just gently touching the floor, using my fingertips to guide. And then you come back to center. Inhale. Exhale to one side. Inhale. And lower. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And lower. Good. Okay. So now we're going to try to do a little bit of a butterfly stretch. So this time, you're going to touch your feet together. So the soles of the feet are touching, the toes are pointed straight forward. And if this feels a bit much, you can just, again, adjust your feet. The further out they are, the less intense the stretch will be. Or you could bring the feet all the way in. So once the feet are in position, just go ahead and grab the feet, and you're going to inhale. And you're going to come to an upward posture. Exhale. The shoulders will lower. So now that you're in this nice upright posture, one of the mistakes that people often make with the butterfly stretch is they'll bounce the stretch really aggressively. So like bouncing the knees up and down, and that can actually lead to injury or to pain in the inner thighs. So you want to be careful and delicate with this stretch. And then instead of bouncing the knees up and down, what you can do is when you find your upright posture, just hinge at the hips and lower. Just slowly lower. So again, like I said, it looks like not much is going on here, but in fact, it turns into a pretty deep stretch pretty quickly. Gently lowering here. And I'm just really feeling that stretch of the inner thighs. What I always do is when I want to deepen the stretch, I come out of it first with an inhale. And when I'm ready to deepen the stretch, I lower with an exhale. When I come out of the stretch, I inhale. Pulse a little bit deeper with an exhale. Good, let's do it 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise. And exhale. And if you want to take this even deeper, you can use your hands to guide you and just reach them forward. However far it feels good, you can release. We no longer have to maintain the upright posture. Again, release the vertebrae and just bring the hands forward. And like if you stretch out your palms and use your hands to guide you, you can even bring this over to one side or bring it to the opposite side, whatever feels good. And back to center. Good. So now, again, every time I do a deeper stretch like that, I always come back to this thing where I'm like bouncing my legs on the floor. It just gets the blood flowing once again. And then I want to return to just one leg at a time. So again, nice and upright. Play with what this feels like to flex and then point the toe. Flex and then point the toe. You're going to raise one arm and you're going to lower. Lower all the way over to one side. And play with how it feels, whether your toe is flexed or pointed. When I point my toe, I'm feeling more of a stretch in the side body. When I flex my toe, I'm getting more of a stretch underneath my leg. And then back to center. And you can switch legs. Inhale, arm comes up. Exhale, lower. So when I point my toe, I'm getting a really deep open stretch in the side body. When I flex my toe, I'm feeling more of a stretch underneath the leg. And back up to center and release. Good. Okay. So how much time we have left? Just a few minutes. So one thing I did want to mention, for those of you that weren't here in the beginning, so the Native Wellness Institute does have several trainings coming up next week that are still open for registration. So on Tuesday and Wednesday, we have self-care trainings. And on Thursday and Friday, we have Power of Positive Thinking trainings. So these are amazing workshops that are taught by our leaders of the Native Wellness Institute, our senior trainers, and I just really recommend, if you've never been, maybe you've been to a lot of our power hours, but you've never been to an official NWI event. We've been doing these digitally for over a year now, and I really recommend joining these trainings if you can. Okay, so those are still open. And to register for those, you just go to nativewellness.com. Okay? All right, so let's finish it off with another breathing exercise that I like to do. So you might want to sit cross-legged. You might want to sit more like leaning against the wall, or sit in a chair, or maybe you want to do these from standing. I'm in the mood to sit right now, but I just want to go ahead and take deep breaths. You're going to breathe in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And you're going to make sure that your hands are just nice and relaxed on your lap. It could be down, it could be up, whatever you prefer. Just make sure that you have that nice upright posture. And we're going to go ahead and take 8 breaths together. Honor the directions as you go. Visualize the directions in your mind as you go. And I'm not going to count these ones off because I don't want my voice to interfere with your practice right now. So count them off yourself. And we're just going to go ahead and do 8 deep breaths. In 3, 2, 1, inhale. Going at your own pace. Don't feel rushed. Okay, and when you're ready, slowly open your eyes. And now I would like everybody to think about an intention that you have for your weekend. Think about something that you want to do with your family or with yourself. Think about, visualize yourself having fun with maybe even a task that you've been putting off, or maybe you want to clean a certain room in your house, or like for me, just yesterday I was looking on my kids' bookshelf and I realized I haven't even filled out their baby books yet. Like I have a 3-year-old and I haven't even finished filling out their baby book because I've not taken the time to get their pictures printed to put them in there. So little things like that, like we think of them as like tasks, like, oh, I have to do this, but try to think of like the fun that you can put into that. Or like if you have a room in your house to clean, think about, visualize yourself doing it and it's like you're smiling and laughing and you have really good music playing and you're like drinking a good cup of coffee as you're getting that done, or doing some yard work. So just try to visualize like something that you have to do this weekend, but making it fun. Because it's really important that we take our time to rest and that we take our time to have fun when we do get a break from the work week. And then think about your intention for wellness. So it could be this week, maybe you have an intention to move your body, to try a new wellness class on YouTube, or to register for native wellness training next week. Maybe there's a certain meal that you've been wanting to cook with your family, like a soup that you want to make, or an indigenous food that you want to try. Another task I just remembering that we have to do is we have some squash from our garden that we still haven't processed. And we need to, my goal was to get these squash sliced up and processed, and I'm gonna save them in the freezer for baby food for our infant. So even though she's not eating solids yet, like it's gonna come up anytime now, and I want to have a stock of food prepared for her that I can just easily pull out of the fridge. So that's another task I have to do. But think about like your intentions for something that contributes to your wellness over this weekend, a little task that you can get done. So as we're doing this, that's what I'm thinking of myself. But it could be anything. Maybe you want to take, maybe you really want to, you haven't been outside much. And I know in some of the colder climate areas, it's finally like warming up a little bit, and it's a really good time to get out and take a nice brisk morning walk. Set your intention to do something that's going to make you feel really good this weekend. All right. Now, as you're visualizing these, getting these tasks done and working on wellness in a good way, in a way that is healthy and serves you, I want everybody to take one more deep breath in, and as you inhale, your shoulders will shrug, and exhale, lower the shoulders. And now, just for a moment, sit in your strength. Turn your attention inward. Feel how strong you are in your core, in your heart, in your mind. You are clear-minded. You have clarity. You are ready to approach your weekend with the intention of resting, with the intention of healing, with the intention of enjoying yourself, because you deserve to enjoy yourself. You deserve to take a break. Everyone deserves that, especially you. I don't know who you are, but you deserve it. Inhale and exhale, and 3 more breaths. Inhale, exhale, and 2. And our final breath together. Inhale and release. Okay, good. Now slowly open your eyes. And our session is over for the day, but I want to thank everybody for joining me. It has been great to be with you all today, and I hope that you all have an awesome weekend. And thank you so much for joining me. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you all today. See you next time.